had a chance or anything that we can do or solve.
Please do. I'll let you leave that.
Solution. Possible solution for how to do that.
And that reminded me, I have another thing I'd like to bring up in a moment as well. Like, Howard, you got the floor. Go ahead.
Okay. It has been brought to a lot of our attention, and you may have noticed on your own, that at a lot of the places where we've gotten media coverage, as well as on Facebook, there are people who are trying to detract from our movement by using slurs and personal attacks and derogatory comments to discredit our movement. I would like to suggest that we try to refrain from lowering to their level, and if we do feel the need to respond, try to keep it in non-specific terms, in such that you're not addressing the comments of any one person there, but you're addressing who we are, what we believe in, and why we're out here, and inviting others to come down and ask us questions rather than going on what's happening in those comments.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are like, you know, oh, morons, hippies, and all this stuff.
Sure.
Like, I make a point to never name call on Facebook, ever. Period, in the story, no matter what, because the public can read it, and they're going to see who's right. They're going to see at least who conducted themselves in a civil manner, even if they don't agree with you. And I had, with regard to some commentary on WKVN today between myself and some other parties, the person who disagreed with us ended with, by the way, I'm glad to see there are educated professional people who, like you, who can agree to disagree and still maintain a civil conversation. And I was like, you know what, that's exactly what we need.
That's the type of thing where that person might end up coming down here, especially if they post again and they get the same courtesy back. They might end up coming back down here because they may end up seeing that we do have some common goals. And that's important to have people switch sides. That is one hell of a testament to have a detractor come down and stand with us.
And any dialogue that I engage in, and I would encourage, you know, always throughout the, we want to hear your voice, we value your opinions, please come down to our meeting, we're having one at 7:30. I end everything with that. Please, you're welcome. Stop by, see what we're about.
Now, to give you an idea, there was a business day today. I was down here this morning bringing some hot food.
Which was delicious.
Thank you. And I had an opportunity to talk to a well-dressed man who happened to be walking by, and we were having a little conversation because he was not understanding what it exactly was. And I said, well, that's a problem we're having with the media. They're not actively choosing to explain our issues. They're saying, oh, they have more than one issue, therefore they don't know what they want.
So do all parties, right?
Yeah, all political parties have more than one issue, but they manage to believe those because they spend millions of dollars in advertising on the networks.
Put them into your brain.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I was speaking with him and talking about one of our issues is getting the corporate money out of the political process by, you know, either reversing the Citizens United decision or doing a constitutional amendment to ban corporate donations of any kind and lobbyists from spending money in Washington in our government.
That's the most commonly attacked one in my experience.
And he then opened up and said, yeah, I agree with that one completely. And then he started to tell his story. He's a stockbroker. We now have a stockbroker on our team.
If I could interject for just one moment, you said that was a common objection that you come across?
Yeah, when I speak about corporate money in politics, I am bombarded primarily by people with the right-wing affiliation. And then what about the union money?
And I consider unions corporations too.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. That's exactly what I say. Is like there's really no difference in my mind, and that's where I get so much hate because then
if only individual people can contribute to the campaign, or the campaigns are 100% taxpayer financed, so it's all coming from the government pot, and every candidate gets an equal amount. And we take it out of the media's realm and say all the media has to give equal time for free to each candidate. because it's the people's airwaves that you're borrowing from us to make your money with. And take all the money out of the elections.
But I mean, they're going to fight hard not to make sure that ever happens. I mean, they're going to spend more money just to make sure.
If they spend all their money on that, they can't be spending it on other crap.
I'm going to give some statistics to help this argument. Over the past 15 years, 90% of the time, at least 90% of the time, oftentimes it's more, oftentimes it's closer to 94, 95, 90% of the time at least, the person who spends the most money on their campaign is the person who wins the election, regardless of how they represent the people. I'm going to give you another statistic that's going to help your disheartenment against all these people that are spending money against what we're talking about. Between the occupiers nationally and the labor unions and other organizations that have signed up to support us, we've got roughly 4% of the population of the United States standing with us right now today. That's a lot of people. That's 4 times as many people as Walmart employs. That's a lot of people, and it's still getting bigger every single day.
A lot of those people are Walmart employees.
That's a fact. That's a fact, my
I wouldn't
friend.
doubt it.
Well, if they have access to the internet, most of them can't afford that.
Well, you can always go to your local public library and get access to it.
Well, not all public libraries have that across the
That
country.
is also a fact.
Even the
Another
rural
fact
areas
is,
that Walmart spring up in, there may not be appropriate internet technology available.
another nice fact about Walmart. Walmart uses government-subsidized funds to keep their employees afloat. It goes back to the coal miners, back towards the turn of the century. There was a coal miner's store. And you go there and you get your stuff on credit. And you owe your life to the company store. You work at Walmart, you're on food stamps. 90% of the time you're on food stamps, and you're at work, you're going to spend your money on your way out the door. $2 billion in every state goes to food stamps for Walmart employees every year. $2 billion because they don't want to pay their employees a livable wage. I got a little sidetracked. What else was I going to bring up? Rabble rousers. We have some people within our group. I'm not going to name any names, but I'm going to look for some feedback from everybody. We have some people who I can't seem to find any logical reason for what they're doing other than they're trying to subvert what we're doing. I'm talking about the people who said it was okay for us, the person who started the rumor that said it was okay for us to set up tents. I'm talking about a person who has been very, very outspoken and very much in attendance, tried to take a leadership position without it being offered to them after sending me a 3-page rant about how pointless the Youngstown movement was. I don't want to tell anybody that they can't participate, but we need to have some plans in place for how to handle these people. I'm looking for suggestions.
Well,
Ball
I mean, well, okay.
Ice water.
Should the people know who this person is? Number one, is
Not
it
at this
necessary?
point.
Okay.
It's not
I mean,
necessary
I know who
to
this person
determine
is,
how
but
to deal with.
How do you guys? What's the feedback on this? I'm kind of at a loss myself.
The only way to really deal with people who disagree with you wholeheartedly, because I've had to deal with this with like family members who are like just so Tea Party that it drives me insane, is by giving them facts and known facts. And whenever they say that's a lie, you have to show them the fact.
I'm not talking about
Yeah,
that.
the issue is more of 2 weeks ago this person had a very hard agenda against the movement, and all of a sudden they walked in and acted like they're supporters, and they'll probably hold on. Not to say they haven't like come to our side, but that person is then infiltrating in a way that they're doing things or saying things that cause us additional work. Like having to take the tents down when we weren't really supposed to have them to begin with because they said, oh, you can put the tents up. So-and-so said so. When really that didn't happen.
See, the committee has to, at that point, like when someone says, oh, it's okay, you have to double check facts because otherwise it's going to be a real problem. When we do events, we always have this problem of the other attorneys are like, oh yeah, you could go ahead and do that. Well, you can't. You have to know what is within your rights and what isn't. You're doing certain things. It's like with that tent, the 20 by 20. You know, if there's a 10 by 10 and a 10 by 10, they may come out and say, no, 20 by 20 max size on one tent for an event tent.
Right. Right.
That's something you have to check on. Ask them if it's like you have to go that route by double checking your facts.
I typically, I showed up and all of a sudden there was tents here. I was like, oh, is it okay? I guess it's okay. You guys checked your stuff out, right?
I'm guessing this person isn't here.
No. Here's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, like, are they here often? I mean, it's like that. There's a technique that's often used in activist communities called accountability workshop. You sit down with the person, right? People who are heavily involved and are aware of the problems that you're having with that person, sit down with them and have an open discussion regarding the reasons why they did what they did, right? So if there was some manner of misunderstanding, it could be solved, and you present your viewpoint on it without any kind of shouting match, right? As a civil kind of operation, and you then discuss a strategy by which it can be resolved, right? So, like a private meeting with this person would probably be,
My only concern with that, given that I know the individual, is that they lie to their teeth on a regular basis, and they will tell you what you want to hear, and they will continue to cause problems while telling you what you want to hear.
Well, then I think probably isolation would be the best.
That's been my thought as well, and I like your idea about accountability. Here's what I'm going to do. We got an email list right now. There is a phone list in existence as well. We've kept it confidential. What I'm going to do tonight when I get home, I'm going to send out a mass email that has my phone number in it. If there's something that somebody has a question about, I don't care if it's 4 in the morning, you can call me. You can ask me, and if I don't know the answer, which I probably will, but if I don't know the answer, I'll find out and I'll get back to you. But if there's something that seems questionable, if somebody is telling you that you can do something and it's been discussed before and it doesn't seem, call me and I'll figure it out. And that's the only thing that I can figure to do.
My thing is getting I personally deal directly with Lindsay and the city on a direct basis. I take nothing from anybody else's facts.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to cause any issues I want to know, and just even in terms of paying for this insurance, I want to get answers before that happens. I want to know exactly, and that's why I had her come down here today. So.
Well, if there's a relationship that damages our overall mission here, that relationship has to end.
Yeah.
Because infighting is the leading destructor of these kind of movements. So if it damages our main agenda, then that person, should probably be asked to step aside.
On that note too, it'd be nice to have a table, like an info shop kind of a thing, for everybody to come down and look at and read stuff, because that solves a lot of problems with, like, especially if people come down and they're like trying to pick a fight or whatever, then there's the info shop. Enjoy reading if you can read, and just walk away from it.
I think once we get the tents back in place, that'll be.
Yeah.
Once we have to, this is a very awkward scenario we have here.
In regards to people walking up, to my knowledge, other than one person driving by and giving someone a finger, I don't recall there being. Oh, it's like before now. Okay, so the finger point, is it the same person 4 times, or?
There was a smart ass in the Lexus. Was anybody else here for the smart ass in the Lexus?
Did you drop your George?
Yeah, there's a smart ass in the Lexus as well. Yeah.
Okay. So
Smart
one
ass in the
person
Lexus
who
we
made
got, we're
comments
standing out.
and 4 fingers has been the extent of negative commentary from people in person. Online, we get tons and tons of it, but in person, virtually none.
There's always going to be like a million more keyboard warriors, and there are people who are actually going to go face it because they're afraid that they're going to get either proven wrong or they're going to learn something.
To me, the interesting thing is, especially on Vindicator, the people that are making those derogatory comments are the people that are consistently making derogatory comments about everything going on in
Regardless of the
Youngstown
article, yeah.
for years, and have a very consistent agenda of the best thing to do with Youngstown is bulldoze the entire city.
And I'll tell you something else about the Vindicator forums.
Vindicator is nothing but a bunch of lies. They'll change stories around and make news. They don't care if it's the truth or a lie.
And with regard to
that is their business.
With regard to that,
They do know.
Yes, but that's their business. They're in the business to make money selling papers.
with
Well, I
regard
don't
to
buy
that,
paper anymore unless I absolutely have to.
Right.
But I don't buy them because I know there's nothing but lies in them.
I don't either.
With regard to that, with regard to the keyboard warriors on the Vindicator forums and on the commentary boards, I've been blacklisted by the Vindicator. I have had several websites in the past. If you type them in and you try to post it in a comment, it shows up through the profanity filter. It's nothing but symbols and asterisks. You take the IP logs of those keyboard warriors, and if there's 12 of them, 3 of them come right from that Vindicator office. I guarantee you. I guarantee you.
Well, I'll tell
Did you
you
really
what.
do that? Take your IP so that you went down?
No.
One of the best politicians
No,
we
but
had.
I've had some other evidence that points towards
And
that.
the Vindicator and Travis, they hate each other. Anything they can do to stop him, they'll do. They don't care what they got to say.
Now, I've got one more thing that I need some feedback on. We'll call it a voluntary homework assignment. I have a dear friend of mine. He is about 70 years old. His name's Pat Connolly. He's a longtime union rep. He worked for 30 years at GM as a union representative, and he's been on more picket lines than anybody in this room has combined. He's been arrested 6 times on picket lines fighting for people's rights. Pat supports us 100%, but Pat has not come down here because Pat's issue is all we're doing is standing here. Pat had a suggestion that he wanted me to bring to the table tonight. Pat Connolly said that one of his main issues is buying American. We don't need a jobs bill. We don't need Obama to pass a jobs bill. We need people to buy American. Go out, find an American product, hopefully one that's made locally, and find businesses that need to use that product, and lobby those businesses to buy that product. Once that happens, they have to up their hours. They got to start paying people overtime. They're only going to pay people overtime for so long before they have to add a second shift. Go out at some point between now and whenever, find a product, bring it up at the next meeting, and let's have some call to action on this.
I know.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I know for sure all of Aldi's produce is all grown in America. If you can't hit the farmer's market because it's winter, Aldi's produce is all American and it's very good.
Produce? Well, I'm going to tell you what, I haul produce with my semi. And you're wrong. It comes during the winter months, it comes from Costa Rica.
See, there you go. You got to watch. You got to be careful. Pal was telling me a story. There was a, give me 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. There was a company right underneath of the Market Street Bridge. They were a nail distributor. And they bought, do you know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
They bought nails in bulk from China. They repackaged them in boxes. They said they were made in America. You got to watch. Now, the reason I want Pat Connolly's support is because, like I said, he's a longtime union supporter, and he knows so many people that owe him favors. I love the turnout that we have gotten so far, but I want to see this block filled up. Yeah. You want to get some serious support? Get Pat Connolly out here. That motherfucker, pardon? That old man will...
Another one would be, if we get traffic right down here.
Yeah.
Now, he would really pack them in. Everybody likes to hear him speak.
Okay.
But you're talking about the nails. When Likes Corporation bought Sheet and Tube right here and closed it up and everything, the reason why they did that is because they still got the Sheet and Tube in Chicago going. They wanted that right there on Lake Michigan. That way they could bring their ships in with all the foreign steel and unload it, take the coils, take them out of cans, change the markings, and all would sell them as U.S. steel.
That's a fact.
I know. I was there, and I got pictures of it, and I gave it to Jimmy Trafficant. The same thing with Hondas. I photographed them all coming into the Baltimore here, right out of the window of my semi. I mean, there was crews of people driving them off the boat. This wasn't made out here in Columbus.
This is a little step, this homework assignment. Ultimately, what I'd like to see is once we have those huge numbers, I'd like to see that same type of lobbying towards, where is it, the Chamber of Commerce? Which way should I be pointing? Chamber of Commerce, every public building, every public school, every government office in the city buying American products. I want to see every school with an American car for their driver's ed program. Because that's the kind of thing that's going to create American jobs, and that's the kind of thing that's going to give tax revenue that we need in addition to that Robin Hood 1%. And that's going to give some serious numbers. I'm talking about 4% of the U.S. population right now. This is the kind of thing that could get us up to a full 99% marching in the streets, because we did it. And I'm going to send the same message off to New York and all the other larger cities later on tonight.
Maybe a good idea would be like, if anybody has any of these products made in America, like sit around, put them on like an info table, go, look, this product is made in this area in America. This is what you could be buying, rather than the cheap Chinese stuff or the cheap Vietnamese stuff. All of these jobs do. I mean, they're even moving jobs out of China now because the labor's too expensive for them. I mean, it's beyond ridiculous.
Backing up a moment to the food issue, the way that you can be assured that the produce you're buying is grown in America, and more specifically grown locally, most likely within 200 or 300 miles, is only buy what's in season. Because that's the cheapest time of the year to buy it, and it's cheaper to get it from a place here than it is to get it from 10,000 miles away.
Or go to your
If you don't know what's in season at any particular time of the year, email me, Howard Markert. I'm on the email list. I can get you that information. Or you can sign up with Grow Youngstown CSA or one of the 5 other CSAs that are in the Mahoning Valley, and you will get locally grown produce from a local farmer in season throughout the whole growing season, and some of them are now starting to do baskets during the wintertime as well, so that you have locally grown, locally produced food.
I'll say this too. If you grow your own food, if you buy plants for your garden, I talked about my employer for a little bit a while ago. One of the reasons that I still work for that asshole is because every single plant that we get comes from Ohio or Indiana or Virginia. And that's it. We don't bring in plants from overseas like Walmart and Home Depot. Go to Mashortas County Gardens. Everything is American there.
Something that was mentioned today. This Saturday is YSU's homecoming. No big deal. Sunday's the Peace Race. And they're going to be finishing up or coming through town. If anybody's going to want a parking, if anybody, 5, if anybody wants to get downtown